So last night dinner, we had 2 of our roosters. I did like a lemongrass sort of chili rub, and we put them in our new to us barbecue smoker. So it's an offset barbecue smoker. Now Dom used this on Father's Day. It's right next to the wood pile, chopping block, wood splitter. Dom used this on Father's Day to do brisket, and it was really, really good because we just did a fire, no wood chips needed, and it came out really, really beautiful. It was only quite a small piece, but we just cut it up and put it on like a brisket bread roll sort of thing. Last night we put 2 roosters in it, and they came out so good. It was really, really delicious. And we also did a duck breast for sandwich meat. Dom found that on Facebook for $40. Somebody was selling that for, it's heavy duty, it's well used, well worn in, and it's just one of those things, you know, you can find such good stuff for secondhand, recycle things, upcycle things. If you just have a look, you don't have to buy things new. It's so exciting, and we're really, really excited to have it so that we can cook smoked meat. Once we harvest Pedro, the calf, we're also going to do a fair bit of jerky in there. So we'll be, you know, cooking some meat, and then we'll lay a whole heap of thin, really thin, top side out marinated, and do some really nice jerky. So I'm excited about that. This week we have started to separate the calf. The first day of calf separation was Saturday, the day before Father's Day, and Maggie mooed all night. She didn't stop. I don't think she slept because it was all night. I at one point slept with noise cancelling headphones on, trying to block out the sound because she's right outside our window. When I had the calf in the paddock and Maggie in the laneway. So then in the morning I have to bring the calf up to the head of the head bale still, and then bring Maggie up. So She wouldn't come up without the calf. So then I had to try and get the calf past her to get it to the top of the head bale. So now I've swapped it around. The calf's in the laneway, Maggie's in the paddock. I bring the calf up first because comes up without his mum. Put him at the time to the top of the head bale, and then she runs up and runs straight into the lane of the head bale really easily. So that's working really well, and they're not calling to each other anymore. I think because the calf can't really move around the paddock because he's in the laneway. So Maggie can move around, but the calf can't. So cancelling out the afternoon milk means I do have a lot more time on my hands, which is great. So just waking up at 5 to milk, I'm getting about 9 to 10 litres, and still leaving a little bit for the calf to drink because he hasn't drank all night. So I'm taking him off at 6 o'clock and putting him back on at 5:30, 5:45 for a feed. So that's working really well. I'm enjoying having just the one load of milk to deal with and not having to do 2 milkings and 2 sanitations and that sort of thing. So with that, getting 10 litres or 9 litres in the morning means I can just skim the cream off the bulk load of the milk and give the skim milk to the pigs. So the cream is really what I'm wanting, because I need as much cream as I can get for butter and also our cream use. So that means I pretty well have to keep every morning's milk to get enough cream to do butter for the week. The butter I'm making, I then whip to aerate it just to make it a bit lighter, and then I'm actually adding olive oil into it as well because I like the flavour of olive oil, and it also sort of bulks it out at the moment. Olive oil is good for you, so I don't mind doing it. It's a good quality olive oil, but eventually hopefully we'll be able to have plain butter and like olive oil spread. When you whip the butter, it makes it quite light, so you can put it in the fridge and it can be spreadable, whereas some butters, you put them in the fridge and they go rock hard and you can't spread them. Whipping it means that it's quite aerated and you can spread it a lot easier on your bread or toast or whatever you're spreading it on. We're also using that to cook with, so the butter's the thing, it's in high demand. I'm really excited to show you guys today the new garden plot that we're trying to work on here. I've just moved the little piglets. It's 5,500 square feet, so it's massive. It's plenty big enough for what I need. I'm not going to get rid of those other gardens, they will still be used, but this is just a bit of a new project. Oh, you guys look fat. Good milk, huh? Hey, cow. Hey, cow. Hey, guys. This paddock will be eventually the new garden. Like I said, it's 5,500 square feet, so it's massive. That includes a large dam and a few orchard trees at the moment and a few established trees. So the orchard will actually extend down to the dam. That whole section there will be orchard, and we plan to do a particular type of tree hopefully in the future to be able to sell the fruit, but I'm not going to tell you at the moment because we're finding it hard to actually find the type of tree we want. So I would also like to have a few different other trees in here and also some nut trees. At the moment we just have macadamia, an apple, a mulberry, an olive. I don't remember what the last one is. Could be, no, I don't remember. So these guys here will be preparing the garden beds. So this one next to the gate is like a small sort of rectangle long one. Then this guy's working on a rectangle long one, sort of matching the one he's already been in. And what I plan to do is I plan to have the garden plots, but also have them integrated with animals, so that I can have animals doing work in here, either tilling or scarifying or fertilizing. So I need to really knuckle down and make sure I've got my fencing sorted out, because, you know, if I have a pig right next to a plot of beetroots or lettuce or something and the pig gets out, I'm going to be wasting my time. So it's important that I knuckle down on what type of fencing I'm having. I put the ducks in here. They scored the 5-star hotel, and so they're just sort of manuring in there, and I was hoping to get some eggs because I haven't had any eggs from them yet. So they got the 5-star accommodation so that maybe they would start to lay a bit quicker. And so the plots are going to be sort of rectangles next to each other with this sort of path in between them that I'll keep just grass and mow. And I'll have to landscape around these substantial trees. I'm not going to take them out. I'm going to sort of landscape around them, and it's going to be a really sort of nice, from a bird's eye view. I hope that I can make it so it sort of works, but it also looks really pretty and it's a nice place to be. So that means sort of ripping up this grass. That's going to feed the pigs. They're manuring the ground. And then I'm going to do sort of a no-dig setup. I've been researching a lot of no-dig techniques, and that's basically the way I'm going to do it is cardboard. So you get a whole heap of cardboard, you take the sticky tape off it and any staples or anything, you just leave the plain cardboard, not glossy, you don't want the glossy stuff, and you lay it on top of the grass. So you don't kill the grass. In this case, the pigs are eating it, but you don't actually kill the grass. Lay your cardboard down, and then you put whatever growing medium you'll have on top of that. So, you know, horse manure, cow manure, compost, that sort of thing. Good mix of that I'm going to do. And you can plant straight into that. The cardboard suppresses the grass, suppresses the weeds, and it does this really amazing thing where all the bugs and worms and microorganisms. So putting down cardboard and then putting mulch on top creates this home for worms and microorganisms to thrive, because they like the moist conditions and they don't like too much sunlight, and they also feed off the cardboard. So this is I probably put this wood chip down a year ago now, and this was rock solid. This was rock solid dirt under here, and you can sort of see there's evidence of cardboard. So you can see some sticky tape there. Oh, sorry. See some sticky tape there. If you don't take off, obviously it doesn't break down, but you can see little bits of cardboard, but mostly it's all broken down. And this was rock solid ground when I put the cardboard on top of it. I actually took all the topsoil off to put in the veggie garden. And so this was just like clay, bare clay. And so I put the cardboard straight on top and put this wood chip on top. And as you can see, it's now it's quite soft and it's black, and I can move around with my hands. So the reason why that garden plot is so good is it's north facing. It's got a slight slope for drainage, and it's already got pretty good soil. So it's working in sort of a permaculture setup. Things in the places that you visit most frequently, you need as close to the house as possible. So my chickens, I'm visiting them sort of 3 times a day to get their eggs, feed them, give them water, check on them. So they're right outside my back door, right outside, you know, my clothesline, as close as they can to the house as possible with that many. The pigs are the same. I visit them 2 times a day, and I'm feeding them, watering them, checking on them, making sure they're not getting out. And so the fence that borders our house paddock where the kids play, we're going to put another gate in there, just a personal access gate into the garden that I'll be visiting to harvest things to eat. And I'll also be spending quite a lot of time in there weeding and planting new things. Our glass house, or our greenhouse, where we'll be starting the seedlings, is just past that, just over the driveway. That's another thing that we have quite close to the house, because little seedlings need a lot of care and they need a lot of attention. You need to keep the soil moist so that the seeds germinate, and you'll just be checking and things like that. And I do plan to put some like festoon lights in there, and maybe a sink, and eventually water and things like that, to make that a really nice place as well to be. And you know, I can turn on those festoon lights and have all the glass and sort of sit in there. It'll be a nice warm place in winter, somewhere where we can go and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and hang out. I moved those piglets in there yesterday. My stepdaughter and I moved them in there. That older pig's like, how many more have you got of those? And they just need a little bit of shelter. Now that it's warming up, the temperatures at night time, they're not low, so it's fine. But to grow a pig, you want to make sure that the pig has everything it needs. You want it to be warm so that it's not losing weight. You want it to have enough food and water. So I really want to get a shelter in with those piglets. The reason why I haven't put them together, I could have put them together, is, and I think that would be fine, because that cow, Calvin, that Brady named, he's really sweet. He lets me scratch him and he's so lovely. It's going to be hard to get rid of him when we need to eventually kill him to eat. The other piglet that we're going to keep is actually a female, and she's also really sweet, and she's the biggest of the litter. So we're going to compare flavours with because he's an intact boar, and sometimes people say that if they're an intact boar, sometimes they can have a bit of a boar flavour. So we're actually going to compare flavours with those two, so that just leaves the two little piglets to sell. Okay, so the reason why I haven't put them together is because I actually want them to be working two different plots at once, so that we can start tilling that grass up and getting those plots ready soonish. So this is sort of the laneway between the deck and the citrus orchard. There's a big wisteria hedge that has really beautiful purple flowers. There's another seed. They're only just sort of starting to come out, but it's really pretty here. And this water tank was fed off this side of the house. So Dom's redirected the downpipe into a bigger tank. This tank we don't need here anymore. So I just want to drain it out today and hopefully move it with the dingo. It's a 3,000 litre water tank, and I just want to empty the excess water out so that it's light enough to move with the dingo. Dom's currently making a trailer, a dual axle trailer that this, thanks buddy, that this 3,000 litre water tank will sit on. And it will be sort of for firefighting, or don't water me. once the trees are put in, they'll be too far away from the house to be able to water. So Dom's going to put a tow ball on the slasher of the tractor, and I will hook Eddie's just got a spray water bottle. I'll hook the trailer up to the slasher of the tractor, which will be really easy because on a tractor you sort of just sit there and use all the it's really easy to do everything on a tractor because you just sort of sit in the one spot and lift, and you know, if you've ever driven a tractor, all the controls are right there next to you, so it'll be really easy to hook up the trailer and drive it around and be able to water all the trees. So the plans are, because this sort of section of the house yard is right next to the deck, we want to either put a plunge pool or a spa bath here one day. So we want to clean out this little laneway here and make room for that next to the house. I was talking to my mum this week about something called Let's, I think she said it was, and it's when she first moved here, she was in a group of people that like to swap things and trade things, skills or produce. So our street here has a Facebook page, and this week I posted a little message on the Facebook page saying, did anybody have any fruit and veg, homegrown fruit or veg that they could swap? Just trying to reduce waste, and we don't actually know a lot of our neighbours here very well, so I thought maybe if anything it could grow relationships and a bit of community in the street. And during lockdown it might be a way of sharing things that then you wouldn't have to necessarily buy from the shop and go to the shop and things like that. And it was really positive. There was a lot of people said, yeah, that's a great idea, let's do it. We already do this with our direct neighbours, share things and share produce that we can grow, but it was really great to see the rest of the street come together on that Facebook page and say, I've got mandarins, I've got lemons, I've got spinach, and just sort of trade different produce. So I'm trying to grow just a little bit extra so that hopefully I can trade things in the future. At the moment I could probably trade some leeks or something, but sort of want to have a few different things so I could maybe make a little sort of box to be able to swap. And even for skills, my mum was saying, you know, it wasn't just fruit and veg when she first started doing it, it was haircuts, and maybe you need something dug, you know, with a machine, so you would trade food for skills as well. So that was really positive. Eddie, leave him alone. Thanks. Come and get some shoes on. Is it a frisbee? Ah, cool. Can you go and get your shoes, please, and bring them here? And the other thing that came from that is, because we have fresh milk at the moment, and my mum likes to make yogurt, we're going to trade fresh milk.
Dude, I'm so hard that
Okay.
wolf on my head. I want some food. I can't get them.
Okay, I'll get them for you. Please don't touch that.
Why?
I'm using it at the moment. It's looking like every 3 days I'll give my mum 2 litres of milk, and she will give us back a litre of yogurt, natural yogurt. So we go through at least a litre to a litre and a half a week, 2 litres some weeks, or kilos. So that should be good to sort of, then she's getting milk. If she needs more, I'm happy to give her more, and in return, in return we're getting natural yogurt. The other thing we're excited about is potentially swapping pork for fish. We don't fish, we're not very good at it, and we don't have the time to be doing deep sea fishing especially, so we do have the time for pork, and we do have the space for growing pork, and there's people at the place that Dom works that do fish and do deep sea fishing that can't necessarily grow pork and don't have the room to grow pork, and so we hope to swap in the future.
Hey, Mom.
Hey buddy, we hope to swap in the future pork cuts for fish. Come on, Wally. Walt. Wally. Walt. Aspects of lockdown have definitely been hard and challenging, but one thing I'm really enjoying is actually having everybody at home. Dom still goes to work, but the rest of us stay home in the daytime, and it gives us time to be together and watch movies and do jobs together. One of the things I'm particularly liking is Bridie at school. She does agriculture, and it's opened up a whole heap of conversations about soil health and farming practices and different things that I am so excited that they can learn and know, and then we can put into place here. We have had a talk about virtual agriculture, and I would really like to get her teacher on board for her to be just helping me as well as doing theory, but also being out here and doing practical gardening and farming techniques out here. So that's really exciting. Harry's also been cooking a lot. He's done butter this week, and he did a really yummy chocolate cake, and it's really nice to have them here. Usually our schedule is a bit chaotic with basketball and school and drop-offs and pickups, so So last year when I did my onions and my potatoes, I put this wood chip on top. Now this is a really fine wood chip, and I just find it breaks down a lot easier than the more heavier wood chip that I just put on the path. And the only thing is with this is once you put it down, if you put it down quite heavy, the water finds it hard to penetrate through to the roots of the plant. So like I did with that pumpkin bed, you would just put a drip hose through underneath this to water the roots of the plant, especially for things like pumpkins, tomatoes, cucumbers, things that don't like their leaves to be wet, things that have mold issues or mildew issues. They like to be watered at their roots, not necessarily on top of their leaves. You'll get a much healthier plant that way. And so putting that drip irrigation in with the mulch, you cut back on your watering, and what I've found is that wood chip just breaks down quite quickly and makes nice soil. So this wood chip I get from a wood mill, so somewhere that does firewood. This comes from the firewood piles that they, what would drop off from chopping the wood or sawing the wood beside that. So it's more of a sawdust sort of wood chip. And that one there is like wood chipped stumps from the bush. So it's a lot more coarse and you can put it in your pathways. It doesn't necessarily have to break down as quick if it's in the pathways, and you would be able to sort of rake off the heavier sticks, leaving the soil and the little bits of wood that could compost. Greenhouse is pretty well finished being seeded. I've just got a few more rows there that I can put some other things in. I think there's 4 rows there. Plenty of things popping up. I really just want to get in here. And mulch. And I like to use sugarcane mulch in here because I like how it makes the soil. But out there I'm going to stick with the wood chip, and I really want to try and stay away from the sugarcane because it costs money, whereas the wood chip we can get for free. So I'm just going to do a light covering of wood chip on some of the seeds that I've just put in so that I can sort of keep some of the moisture in, but when I hose it, the water can still get through the wood chip. Bring this wisteria hedge back yesterday, and Dom just moved the tank, so now I just got a rake.